Let's go take a look for the very first time together. If I would have just drove straight out, we probably would have been fine. I am ashamed, I am mortified, I am hurt deeply. Here is the potential silver lining. Hey, it's Freeman. Welcome back to the Freeman's Garage Extra Channel. In a previous Extra Channel video, we hauled our 1956 Tri Five Chevrolet 500 miles from Texas to Oklahoma to this storage locker right here that we're standing inside of. And we had a little mishap getting the car off the trailer. The car rammed into the Rambler back there. The 56 Chevy sustained damage. All my fault. Well, at the end of that video, I told you I was too pooped to pop. So this video here, we're gonna take a look at the damage for the first time together. I hadn't seen it more than just a glance. I just know it's bad. I couldn't stand to even look at it. I had to just get away from here for a few days, but we're gonna look at it together for the first time. And I will also explain to you what I was thinking, why I did what I did, what went wrong, and the thoughts that I had the days following the incident where we damaged the car. And also I'll tell you why it may not be that bad of a thing, even though it is. But Johnny Cash told us that behind every cloud is a silver lining. So let's take a peek. If you're new here at Freeman's Garage and Freeman's Garage Extra, that is not the damage we were talking about. That's from the 1970s. The damage that we're talking about is on the right rear quarter panel. We hauled the car 500 miles up here, 2 o'clock in the morning, midnight, whatever it was. Dead tired, shouldn't have been doing this stuff, out of time, dripping in sweat. We got those two vehicles that were end to end, those two in the back. We got those side by side. Yeah, we should have been at home sleeping like a baby. But no, we're out here and we got this chained to the trailer. Oh, and we had to unload a whole bunch of other stuff. It was just a kind of a grueling day. And at the very end of it, we hurt the car real bad. So let's go take a look for the very first time together, other than just a superficial glance. Oh, and we damaged the Chevy pickup too. There it is. That's what we did. Oh, buddy, look at that. This is all good up here. See this? See that? So the damage is here back. This was all straight. The chrome, the quarter panel, everything. And in a minute here, I'll tell. Remember, we're gonna get to why it might actually be not that bad of a thing. It's kind of us just pretending it's not that bad of a thing because this is horrific. Take a look from the other side here. See, it used to look like that. Nice and straight. Oh, and the, well, we'll look at that in a second because I'm not sure if the Rambler got damaged or not. But that's all fine. And how the bumper's beat up, that's how it was. That's how it was parked in the 70s. So, oh, actually, you know what? It's not as bad as I thought it was from back here. I mean, it is very bad. But I thought all of this, from looking from the other side, I thought all of this was completely crushed flat. Boy, and I almost put the taillights in to look cool on the trailer. If the car doesn't look cool enough already, people wanted to talk at every fuel stop. Bumper cracked. See, that's the other thing is, see how these two bumpers are? Talk about that in a second. This screwdriver's too big for a Tri Five trunk. Perfect for Ramblers, gets me every time. Aha! Got it with the Phillips. Okay, well, that's a little bit closer to the trunk than it used to be. It used to not be that tight opening that trunk. When the car rolled off the trailer, it hit the Rambler, and the rear bumper of the Chevy here went underneath the Rambler and pushed the Rambler nose first into that wall, and the back of the Chevy was squatted, and I had to pull the car out from underneath the Rambler. Over here, see the bumper of the Tri 5, the 56, hit the Chevy pickup bumper right here and pushed its way past. So it rolled off, the car rolled off the trailer hard enough to do that. Here's what this looks like in here from this side. That's how much I'm sweating in here. Now that I'm looking at this from over here, I know this may be weird to say, but it's not actually that bad. Okay, now I'll tell you my thoughts on exactly what happened here and what I could have done differently or what went wrong. So, in a walnut shell, I was hardly awake. That's a great excuse. Just running on empty. Let me throw this out there. If you haven't seen another video, you have to. One of the big factors in all of this going wrong was because the terrain in front of this storage locker, it just made huge problems. You gotta see the video. So we had the trailer backed into the unit here, into the locker, and we had the car rolled off the trailer far enough that it was like this. The rear tires were past the ramps, safely sitting on the concrete floor. Cars at an angle like that. The front tires were still up on the trailer. And then we ran into a situation where, and I saw it coming, where the Rambler's back there, and there's no way. That's a huge wasp. Is that dirt down there? No, thank you. Don't get stung by another one of those today. So we got to a point where we could not get the car off the trailer anymore. Our only option was to pull the trailer out from under the car at that point. The back of the car was off the trailer, the front's still on the trailer. So then we pulled the trailer out from underneath the front of the car. I thought about how I was gonna do it, and keep in mind that also none of this, all of this, I had no clue how any of this was gonna go when I got here, because we had cars in here in the way. I didn't know if anything would fit, and I knew the terrain was bad, and I hadn't been up here for a month. I'd been 500 miles away in Texas, so it was all kind of a mystery on exactly what we were gonna face when we got here. So the rear tires are safely on the ground. They're actually about here. So the car's actually about up there. And the front tires were up on the trailer. So the car's like that. And what I did is I took a block and I put it in front of this tire. And then I took another block and I put it in front of that tire. So here's the thing. Now I am going to drive forward with the truck, pulling the trailer out from underneath the front of the car, and those blocks will keep the rear tires from turning, right? It'll keep the car from rolling forward, so that way I can pull the trailer out from underneath the car. The front tires kept turning, so I was doing an inch at a time, and it was dark, and then getting out and then making sure that, straightening the steer tires if they needed to be. I didn't want to, off the ramp and kadoosh. So I did that a few times. It looked in the dark as if the car was staying in place while I kept pulling the trailer out from underneath it, and the car was staying in place. And then we got to a point where I got out, checked, and there was, about that far until the trailer would be far enough out from underneath the front tires of the car that the front tires of the car would then be on the ramps of the trailer. And in my stupor, see, I remember thinking I'm gonna put one in front of one rear tire and then another block. So one block in front and one block behind. And then that way the car won't roll forward when we're pulling the trailer out from underneath it, and it won't roll backwards. I wasn't sure if it was gonna roll backwards or not, because see, here's the other thing. I was thinking about pulling the trailer out from underneath quick enough so that the car wouldn't roll backwards. But that was before I realized that the steer tires kept turning, and then it turned into a foot at a time thing, and then next thing you know, I'm pulling out that last little bit, the car just rolls away, and when those front tires hit the ramps, I stopped. I couldn't see what was going on back there, right? If I would have just drove straight out, we probably would have been fine. But because I pulled out another foot, the front tires are now on the ramps, and I stopped, it was just as if, the car's just on an incline and it's now gonna coast downhill. That's when I heard the big crash of the Chevy hitting the Rambler, and then the second crash of the Rambler hitting the wall. Oh, jeez. I didn't look, just a quick glance, and then I didn't process it, start processing it until the next day. If this car would have been further over this way and hit a little more square onto this, bumper to bumper, they're the same height, nothing would have happened to any vehicle here. See, it's interesting because the Chevy truck, dad shoes, my daughter made me buy them, and shorts. You've never seen it. But she said, we're not going this whole summer with 5 pounds of leather on each foot. Well, paraphrasing, that's not how she sounds. It hit here and deflected on this curve and bent this back. Nothing happened to the Rambler that I can see. Doesn't look like it did. Tell you what though, if this car would not have clipped that bumper a little bit, actually, I was gonna say if it didn't clip that, it could have damaged the Rambler, but because it clipped it, it did that. Isn't that crazy? If it would have just been, over to one side or the other 12 inches, it would have been different. Because remember, when I got here that night, I moved those cars into that position there, and I was gonna drop this car, our Tri Five here, right in the center, which would have been perfect for our accident. When I backed the trailer up to the storage locker, because of the terrain out here, your trailers like this, trucks like that, I just ended up over here a little bit and said whatever. I had to back with the car on the trailer. I had to use 4-wheel drive. Remember when I was a kid and my dad ran a Cutlass on the dirt track? Sometimes the factory bumper shells would get hooked and one guy would be dragging the other around the track. Doesn't look like anything happened. There's another perspective. I am ashamed, I am mortified, I am hurt deeply. Here is the potential silver lining behind the cloud, and it's not a justification. Still bad. The silver lining is that this metal was in poor shape to begin with. We do have a brand new trunk floor that we've been working on installing, and after that we're going to do a brand new floor pan, the rest of the floor, and we have everything we need for the car to run. We got a 4-speed transmission to do 4 on the floor, so we were not going to do the other bits of body work that needs to be done. We're going to leave it all, just like this on the outside. But now that that happened, that's got me thinking a little bit differently. And how I'm thinking differently is, well, first off, we're gonna keep working on the car to get the trunk floor done, because we need that so that we have something to attach a gas tank to. The rest of the floor pan needs to be replaced because we want to put nice carpet, things like that, nice interior inside it. It's a Club Coupe. The only way you could get the special interior this car had is Club Coupe. I want to do that, but that can wait. We can just have a ratty seat in there and whatnot, but we got to have the trunk floor so we can have a gas tank bolted into the right location. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to finish getting the car running and transmission in. We might end up doing rockers as well. We'll bang that out, or maybe little by little during the process of everything else, we'll work on that. But the point is we're not gonna stop on the progress of getting it running and driving back on the road, because that new damage is not gonna affect that at all. But we will make it better. More of the actual silver lining. Again, awful, horrible, no justification. It's possible that this quarter panel has been all hacked apart and cut up and welded on and everything all before. I mean, look at this. All this body filler, booger welds, all that body filler. I mean, there's body filler everywhere. We've got screws in our chrome trim. We got all that body filler. And we got some pretty interesting patchwork in the floor. You look at the roof on this side, looks like somebody was pulling a dent out. The car's been hammered pretty good sheet metal wise. The guy I bought it from hot rodded it around in high school in the 70s, got into a wreck, his mom took it away. So that explains some of that. And you know, this is high school auto shop stuff from the 70s. So am I bummed? Is it terrible? Yes, it is. It's absolutely disgusting, but it is not as if we restored this car and put 50 grand into it and just finished, you know, paint on it and all that kind of stuff, and then that happened. We're gonna keep on keeping on here at Freeman's Garage and Freeman's Garage Extra. I appreciate you subscribing, thumbs up, hit the arrow button, share the videos with family and friends. It helps more than you realize. I appreciate you.